everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Pablo. I am a 6'2", light-skinned, proud Mexican immigrant with brown hair. Yes. With brown hair and a beautiful Tessitura blue shirt. It's so good to be here among friends. I have to make a confession. I am not a Tessitura expert. I just learned about V16 yesterday. And let me tell you, there's so much to say about it. But I am a little bit of an expert on community building, and boy, do you all have a community here. There is such a sense of community and belonging between each other that I'm really feeling that joy of being here among professionals from so many different cultural organizations. It's a pleasure. But do you remember back before you were a professional? Maybe like an early childhood memory that comes to mind? Back before it was a job. You know, when you first fell in love with the art form. Not the industry, the business, where we have all these rules to make money, but the art form, maybe when the artistic bug first bit you. For me, I think, was back in kindergarten. There I am, 5 years old. My mom used to organize the other moms to put on little shows, mostly lip syncs of Disney songs, really. And I still remember her stepping up until this little concrete stage, dressed in the most beautiful Beauty and the Beast yellow bell gown. And I remember seeing her and my breath stopping, and the world stopped, and suddenly everything was possible. You can thank her for digging through the family albums. I mean, look at her. How could you not believe in magic after that? I know. I still get chills right now. You can call it catharsis. You can call it effect, feeling, transformation. That is what all art aspires to produce in those who witness it, to be moved in some way. I was so moved that you can say my mom gave an excellent performance. But what made the effect she produced in me possible was an intimate relationship between her and I. That was a dramaturgical necessity. For that show to be good, I needed to be her son, and she needed to be my mother. And then I was deeply transformed. You might be thinking, what does this have to do with what we do at professional cultural institutions? But we at the Public have been playing with what it means to be professional and how reframing that can expand our role in society. I lead the Public Theater's mobile unit and public works programs. In these programs, we experiment with the impact of performing in non-professional spaces or with non-professional performers on stage. At its most basic terms, through long-term, mutually beneficial partnerships with community organizations all over the city, the mobile unit brings professional theater to correctional facilities, community centers, and parks all around the city. And Public Works invites members of community partner organizations to audition and then perform on stage with 100 people from all over the city alongside 5 professional actors. Now, when I say professional, I mean tied to the profession of theater. It's not about describing people's behavior, it is about function. Professional people or places are a part of the industry, frequently participate in the business, particularly if you make a living from being a presenting space or actor. And non-professionals are those outside of the industry. We have found that existing in the blurred lines between professional and non-professional makes our cultural institution more valuable for our community. Why the Public exists in New York is expanded beyond just being a cultural curator, one whose service is to decide what is good art and what is bad art. By blurring those lines, the function of our institution is closer to being a public good for our community. I'm going to use Public Works. I'm going to tell you 3 ways in which being a public good changes the role that we can play in our society. Does that make sense? Yeah? It's a conversation. Number 1, we see our institution become a space of belonging beyond those who have historically felt a relationship to our art form or our industry. We are seeking not a transactional relationship, simply being a product to be sold, especially because we know that leaves a lot of people out of our theater. Even when the programming is free, we are not satisfied with defining access only as this person didn't have theater, now they do, done, our work is over. Instead, it's about forming a relationship. We create systems so the people that we meet through our public works programming, classes, potlucks, tickets to shows, auditions, and the show are invited to come back frequently and stay in relationship with us long term. Those that take us up on it build a sense of belonging to either the art form and or the public itself. Here's an example. This is P-Funk and Lori Brown-Yang. We met P-Funk through our partnership with the Fortune Society. They provide services for people with justice histories. Whenever P-Funk walks into the public theater, he swings the doors open and he yells, "I'm home!" Given who P-Funk is, he was unlikely to be someone who felt that depth of relationship to the public theater or to theater, the art form. And I can tell you, he's probably the first P-Funk on our Tessitura database. This is Lori and her son, John Paul. We met them through our partner's Dream Yard in the Bronx, an after-school arts center. Mother and son have been making plays together with us since 2013. Look at them now. I'm glad we are still actively a part of their lives long term. Number two, we become spaces of connection. Once we've built trust with people from so many different communities all over the city, we create programming that allows them to collaborate with each other. We are activating the incredible community building power of theater and using it to connect those who are different from each other. New York City is one of the most diverse cities in the entire country, but also one of the most segregated. What we do with our time, especially when there's a price tag attached to it, divides people by class. And class is so frequently racialized because of the history of this country. As an antidote, we aim not to serve people in isolation. When you walk into a public works potluck, class, or rehearsal, it's frequently an intergenerational space, people ages 5 to 85, a multicultural space, and it has people from all 5 boroughs of New York City. It puts the public's largeness to good use. We are not trying to replace hyper-local work that is so important. We are trying to live up to the ideal of being a theater for New York City, a town square for 8 million people, and hopefully making a more interconnected, civically engaged, and healthier city in the process. Number 3, finally, in the blurring of lines between professional and non-professional, we also become spaces of exciting innovation, especially doing what we do best, make art. We care enormously about process, a process that builds connection and belonging. But we also work very hard to still create a product. In theater, our product is gatherings, gathering and sharing a story that might leave those who witness it transformed. Importantly, the community-based art that we make is not just meant for the friends and family of our community members. We want to make art for many people to experience transformation. We meet artists who are hungry for the kind of art that we are able to create. They are not doing an act of charity for us. They also want to create stories outside of the usual limits and rules of our industry. They see potential for our community when they're on stage to become dramaturgically essential to the effects of the story, and aim to create art that can still act as a metaphor. As humans, stories are the ways that we understand the world biologically. When we look at the big problems ahead, climate change, division, loneliness epidemic, war, we are in dire need not only for a change of logic, but for a change of spirit. Those of us who tell stories have an immense responsibility to help change how we understand the world. And the stories that we are able to tell in public works, when we include 100 people from all over New York, they often leave audiences with a renewed sense of our shared humanity, a reminder that we are interconnected and that our city can be a miraculous place. These three roles are interconnected. Those of you who care about data, the moment that we meet the most new people in public works is at auditions, because it is such an exciting invitation. This acts as a cycle that is actively changing the role that we play in New York City. Hopefully, these examples begin a conversation for you of the role your organization plays in your city or your community. Now, not all cultural institutions have a mission to become resources beyond being part of the entertainment industry, aspiring to create excellent products that are worth the price. But if you're looking for more, here's our advice. Becoming a public good for our community requires us to question the bounds of being only an industry. Begin, number one, by assessing who you are in intimate relationship with. Number two, who you are gathering and how they're connecting with each other. And number three, the effects of the art that you are making. You remember the secret sauce in my mom's performance? When there is intimacy, excellence can come from many, many places. But when we keep community-based efforts isolated, we are limiting the effects of our pieces of art. Just like the transformative moment I had watching my mom perform so many years ago, maybe some of you are thinking, man, I want our institution to create the kind of impact that Pablo's talking about, but then we'd have to gather all the moms of our city and put them all on stage, and that's impossible. Or is it? Thank you very much.